Shalom, this is Yah is Magnified, and I'm back with another informative video. Today's video is titled The Uniform Interstate Family Support Act. But before I tackle this subject, as always, I must state for the record, I'm not a lawyer, I do not practice law, and I do not pretend to. All my videos are for informational and educational purposes only. They're all facts and all truth, nothing more, nothing less. So with that being said, I would like for you all to hit that like button, and also if you're new to my channel, hit that subscribe button, and also hit that notification bell so you all can be notified as I'm dropping these powerful videos. So without further ado, let's get to it. Okay, so now, for all those who have watched my last video, which was in fact a testimony, you all know that I spoke about this case in that video, okay? So, as I was explaining to my aunt in that video during the testimony, that child support has multiple ways of trying to pursue after the alleged legal father to establish a support order, okay? So, in this case, we're going to call my aunt Mr. Fallen, all right? And his child and his child's mom reside in Texas, but he does not reside in Texas. So because he does not reside in Texas, we sent documents of challenging Texas jurisdiction to even issue an order against him. So once Texas received the documents, they sent this letter out to his child's mom denying her the right to receive support at the current moment. So his child mom got mad and went back down to the Office of Attorney General and petitioned that the Office of Attorney General now try to start a support case in the state where he resides, okay? So now we're dealing with what? The Uniform Interstate, the Uniform Interstate Family Support Act, okay? So now let's go over the document that we have on the screen. It states, the non-custodial parent, who was my aunt, Mr. Fallen, right? The custodial parent name I crossed out, and the OAG case number I crossed out. Then it reads, notice of determination regarding child support review process. And it reads, on 9/12/2023, which was this year, the Office of Attorney General determined that the issuance of an order through the child support review process is not appropriate at this time. This does not affect the rights of the Office of Attorney General or any party to request other remedies as provided by law. So that's what his child's mom did, guys. Once we stopped the Attorney General from proceeding forward, now they're trying to pursue after him in the state that he resides in. But let's continue. Then it states, if you have an existing child support order, which he does not, it remains in effect until further order by the court, and it was issued and signed on 9/12/2023. Okay, as you all can see, all right? So now what we're going to do is go over the Uniform Interstate Family Support Act so we all get better understanding of what exactly is going on and how you all receive remedy. And just in case you reside in one state and your child's mom and your child reside in another state, this is in fact remedy for you all. So now let's continue to apply pressure. Okay, so now let's pick this up at the very top where it reads Uniform Interstate Family Support Act, highlighted in yellow, and it reads a 1992 model statute establishing a one order system by which an alimony or child support decree issued by one state can be enforced against a former spouse who resides in another state. This is exactly what has taken place in my aunt's case, okay? So when they were trying to pursue after him in Texas, even though he does not reside in Texas, he simply challenged Texas jurisdictional authority to even bring him into Texas in order for him to have a hearing to establish the support order, okay? So his child's mom got mad and said, okay, she's going to refile again underneath the Uniform Interstate Family Support Act to try to get his state now to establish a support order against him, okay? But let's continue on. Then it reads, this statute has been adopted in every state and is the basis of what? Jurisdiction in child support suits. So now, as you all can see, the Uniform Interstate Family Support Act is there to what? Establish jurisdiction for child support suits. But let's continue on. The purpose of the act is to make the pursuit of the interstate child support and paternity more effective. Key word, guys, is interstate. Then it further reads, consistent and effective by requiring all states, not some states, guys, but all states to what? To recognize and enforce consistently support orders issued in another state. All right. So now we're dealing with what? Interstate. Interstate what? Let's first, before we find out what type of interstate, let's go to the definition for interstate. Let's proceed forward. Okay, so now, as you all can see on the screen, we are in fact coming from interstate, highlighted in yellow, and it reads, between two or more states, highlighted in red. But let's continue. Between places or persons in different states. Let's continue on. Concerning or affecting two or more states political or territorially, then the states compare interstate commerce. So now let's go to interstate commerce because that's exactly what interstate is. But now let's go to interstate commerce just to further prove that. Let's go there. Okay, let's pick this up at the very top where it reads interstate commerce, highlighted in yellow, and it states traffic, intercourse. Now notice guys, I highlighted intercourse in red. Why? Because intercourse is not what you all believe, okay? And we're going to prove that as well. Because again, we're dealing with what? Legal entities, commercial entities. We're dealing in business. It's commercial. Everything is commercial, guys. But let's continue. It states commercial trading or the transportation of persons or property between or among the several states of the Union, or from or between points in one state and points in another state. Then it states what? Commerce between two states or between places lying in different states. Then it reads, it comprehends all the component parts of what? Commercial intercourse, guys. Between what? Between different states. So when they're talking about intercourse, guys, it's commercial intercourse. That's it. That's all. Between what? Two businesses known as what? The custodial parent and the non-custodial parent. It's just that simple. To further prove that, now let's go to the definition for intercourse. Let's go there. All right, so now let's pick this up at the very top. It states what? Intercourse, highlighted in yellow, and it reads communication, literally a running or passing between persons or places, highlighted in red, guys. Commerce, okay? Then it states behind that sexual relations, but we know they're not talking about physical sexual relations. Why? Because we're dealing with what? Legal entities. That's it. That's all. Corporations. We're dealing in business, guys. That's why you have the Uniform Interstate Family Support Act that's dealing with what? The child support agencies and its corporations. It has nothing to do with a man or a woman. This is all business, guys, between what? Two corporate entities known as, again, the custodial parent and the non-custodial parent. Now, if you guys want to go in and participate as either one of those corporate entities, then that's on you guys. But you must understand what's really going on, okay? To further prove that, let's go to Georgia because Georgia states that if you had sexual intercourse in that state, then that means that what? That they have jurisdiction over you. To further prove that, let's go to Georgia, Uniform Interstate Family Support Act. Let's go there. All right, so now let's pick this up at the very top where it reads the Family Law Review. This is in fact a what? This is a publication of the Family Law section of the State Bar of Georgia and is dated December 2004. Pick this up at the very top. The Uniform Interstate Family Support Act, ensuring the effective enforcement and modification of support orders. Introduction. The Uniform Interstate Family Support Act, the UIFSA, became effective on January 1st, 1998, and is embodied in the OCGA subsection 19-11-100 to subsection 19-11-191. The UIFSA is applicable when parties live in different states and one party seeks the establishment, enforcement, or modification of child support or alimony. The UIFSA also applies to paternity issues. The UIFSA has been adopted by every state and supersedes all versions of the Uniform Reciprocal Enforcement of Support Act, the URESA. As we read earlier, guys, but let's continue. The UIFSA attempts to resolve the problems which arose under the URESA by establishing a defined set of rules which can be summarized as one order, one time, one place, so that there is only one controlling order. The UIFSA facilitates the enforcement of a child support by including 8 additional provisions to assert personal jurisdiction over a non-resident defendant. Okay, so again, this is for those for non-residents, but these same jurisdictional provisions also applies to residents, okay, of the state of Georgia. All right, so now let's go over those 8 provisions. Okay, let's pick this up at the very top where it states 8 additional provisions to assert personal jurisdiction over a non-resident defendant. Bullet point 1. The individual is personally served with process within Georgia. Bullet point 2, the individual submits to the jurisdiction of Georgia by consent, by entering a general appearance, or by filing a responsive document having the effect of waiving any contested personal jurisdiction. Bullet point number 3, the individual resides with the child in Georgia. Bullet point number 4, the individual resides in Georgia and provided prenatal expenses or support for the child. Bullet point number 5, the child resides in Georgia as a result of the acts or directives of the individual. Bullet point number 6 right here, guys. The individual engaged in sexual intercourse in Georgia, and the child may have been conceived by that act or intercourse. So again, guys, that's why I say that has sexual intercourse in the state of Georgia, right? There's no way that it can prove that the child was conceived by that intercourse that happened in the state of Georgia, okay? Why? Just because the child was born in Georgia doesn't mean that the child was conceived in Georgia. The child could have been conceived on the trip that you all went to outside of the state of Georgia. They don't know that, okay? Unless you go in there and say that it was, then you just did what? Testified against yourself. So we know when it states or intercourse, it's talking about what? Commerce, meaning what? Taking care of the child, claiming the child. To further prove that, that's why the next bullet point states what? The individual asserted parentage in the punitive father registry maintained in this state by the Department of Human Services. So again, if you was to go down there, right, and you in Georgia, right, or say if you're not in Georgia, just say you just simply in any state, but since we're dealing with Georgia, just say Georgia. If you're in Georgia and you petition the courts for custody in Georgia, then you just placed yourself on the hook at the legal father status, and guess what? The legal duty of support will be placed among you, okay? That's why I tell you guys, never apply for custody. If you apply for custody in certain circumstances. Basically meaning that you know for without a shadow of a doubt, you will have full custody of that child. If not, do not apply for custody. And it's just that simple. Let's continue. There is any other basis consistent with the Constitution of Georgia and the United States for the exercise of personal jurisdiction pursuant to the state of Georgia Code, then it states, in short, once a court is able to assert personal jurisdiction over a non-resident defendant, that court can enforce a support order over said parties regardless of the state where the individual resides. So now, for those who have been following me for quite some time, if you know what I know, go back and watch my old videos. You know now what laws govern the case dealing with the Uniform Interstate Family Support Act. Okay? If you don't know, then go back and watch my old videos. The answer is in them. The remedy is in them, guys. So again, that's all I'm going to do for today. If you all need my help, hit me up in my email at y'allismagnified@gmail.com. Let's get this right wisdom, this right knowledge, and this right understanding. Let's continue to apply that pressure. And with that being said, I say shalom.